Well, let me follow up on that. Is that the job of a manager to try to, I'll say, balance those guys out? Or how do they become that way after, I'll say, all the years in baseball?
Their parents. How do they become that way?
Yeah.
They got that way before they were in the big leagues. One of the things I think, one of the biggest struggles I think in baseball as a player, I like to see, there's something now in the United States that everyone specializes in a sport. And I was just watching an article on Ohio State's football team, how many recruits he had brought in, Urban Meyer, that played multiple sports. And the reason that he did that was, where has this person failed before? Baseball, the thing is, these guys are specializing in one sport. They've always succeeded. They've been the best in their little league team. They've been the best player in their high school team. They've been their best players in college. Everyone's telling them that they're so good that they're getting awards, you know, left and right. Then they get to the professional baseball, they're not really that good. They get humbled. So a lot of guys can't deal with that. You know, I think that's also a society thing. You guys are a little bit older than me, but I don't believe in giving second places ribbons. There's winners and there's losers. That's just how life is. So telling kids all the time, you're a winner, you know, you're special. You can tell someone you love them and that you're a good parent, but you're like, hey, you lost. Like, I still love you, but you lost. And I think that's huge. No, it is. I go to South America and Venezuela, and I see kids that are already playing Little League Baseball, and they know who's good and who's bad. And they're playing and their parents love them, but they know, like, one kid gets a trophy. You know, they make the group, they make everyone else watch them. The one team that won. You come here in the United States, you know, they get first place trophy, second place, last place trophy. That's the thing, though. So you get to see characters. I think that when you evaluate a player, I'm going to inside with the White Sox. One of the biggest reasons that Ozzie had issues with the front office was not because that he didn't like the player, not personally, maybe sometimes not numbers-wise, is that sometimes you don't believe that player can mesh with your family. Is he going to buy into the chemistry of this team? Is this person won in the past? What is his track record? So again, yeah, I mean, it's a manager's job to try to do it, and they try, and they talk to them. I think managers are most of the time psychologists as well as managers, because at that level you're not really telling a guy how to catch a ground ball. But a lot of guys are just mental cases. And that's why you see those guys, you can look at the rosters, that jump from one team to another team, to another team, another team. There's one thing that I always said in scouting. When teams like Minnesota Twins, Atlanta Braves, let you go, there's a reason why they let that player go. Or when there's a top prospect, and you got an outfield that's old, for example, a couple years ago, the Detroit Tigers, and you give away one of your top outfield prospects, why are they giving up that guy? There's always a doubt. The player can be great numbers-wise, but someone saw something in their organization, and those are the two organizations that I trust the most in evaluating. Atlanta Braves and Minnesota are my favorites. St. Louis Cardinals third. Someone saw something there that they might not think that person would be able to cut into the big leagues. And most of the time, it's the mental aspect. That's what I think makes a big league player different from a minor league player. Is coming to the big leagues. It's a grind mentally.
Ozzie, welcome. I love your dad. I hope he gets back to that somewhere. I mean, I want him to come here, but that's another story. As a Braves fan, Brewers and Braves fan, what you just said, I think the Braves a couple of years ago, I think cut Vinny Castile, but they had no one to replace him. And that to me is a sign of a good organization. You should do that and bring someone up. But I have to ask you, as a John Smoltz fan, and with the jersey on today, how were Smoltz, Glavine, how were those guys doing?
If I had a game 7, I'd pick John Smoltz to pitch it. I think Greg Maddox is probably one of the funniest human beings on the face of the earth. I mean, he's got a weird type of humor. And Glivine's just a workhorse. I think one thing that I saw that, and I think the White Sox brought it to 2005, with the group that they put together.
The pitching staff, yes.
Not only the pitching staff, but how good they were. It was the first time I've ever seen, obviously, I was younger then, and I saw that being tried to be implemented by Don Cooper and my father. Greg Maddox and those guys, they would watch each other's games. They had a philosophy. So when there's scouting reports, everyone says, okay, to Big Poppy, we're going to pitch. Big Poppy can't hit an inside fastball. So every pitcher on the team tries to go inside fastball. Not everyone's best pitch is an inside fastball. So what the Braves would do is, they would say, why would you get a person out with what the scouting report says? Your best pitch is a curveball. Attack your strengths. So they would kind of, other than Leo being there, they would help each other out. And then they grabbed Billwood and those guys and made them great pitchers because they would be there and they would make sure that the younger guys knew how to attack their strengths, knew how to be a better pitcher. So they had kind of had to coach themselves. And I saw it happening again in 2005 with the White Sox between Freddie Garcia, Burley, Garland, getting those guys to the next level of even helping guys like Jose Contreras. You know, because they didn't work out in New York, comes here, it was confidence.
So that system, and under the Braves had, I tell my White Sox fans during that World Series run, that staff in my opinion, like Leo always said, go to the Post, go how many 8-9 games that the White Sox had that year. So it's close.
And it's all how you deal with your teammates. Like if you watch games and watch who the top guys are when a guy comes off the field, who's shaking their hands. If you're a good teammate, if you're there as a player and you're competing, and you're there watching because that's the best. I think in a baseball game, that's the best thing as a pitcher that you can do is watch the game before. I can care less if you're watching a video from what a guy did a week ago. A week ago, that's another story. What have they done the game before? So if you're pitching the next 2 games in that series, you should watch every pitch of every at bat, and that's how you get better, in my opinion.
Thank you.
What's your opinion on pitch counts and all that?
Pitch counts, I think it's a minor league problem. I think that in the minor leagues, when they let you go, you're in a pitch count in the minor leagues, and you come to the big leagues, I think the game gets extended. 7 innings in the minor leagues, it's 4 in the big leagues. American League Baseball, 3 innings is 1 inning in the National League. I think National League is easier. Pitching wise, you got 7, 8, 9. You don't have to grind. That's what I love to see Zamarja this year. And I got a bet, and the Sharks, my friend, I bet that Lester's going to win more games. So I think he's going to eat that league up. But in the American League, you have to battle more pitch on pitch. And God forbid if you have a horrible umpire. So the pitch count is going to be higher in the big leagues. So when you're in the minor leagues and you've got guys throwing 80 pitches in AA, that's hurting them. I think increase their pitch count, give them more days to rest. Nolan Ryan tried doing it with the Rangers, and it was working out. But then the cybermetrics numbers, people said, if you throw 140 pitches, your arm falls off. Well, no one's going to tell you when your arm's going to fall off. Your arm's going to fall off with 40 pitches or with 150 pitches. It just depends.
What they do is they say, if you do that multiple times.
Exactly. So I think that it's the way that you get ready. I think it's your legs under you. I think it's how deep you can go into a game. I think that the reason that guys like Nolan, Roger Clemens, 200 plus inning guys, they get themselves prepared for that in spring training.
Well, my son played Little League here in Wisconsin. They had pitch limits.
That's different. You said
right.
You said the big leagues. I think when you're young, if the day I have my kid, he ain't pitching. If he is, he's going to be at a pitch count, and you're not pitching till maybe college, like high school, college, and then you're going to watch. You have so many bullets in your arm.
Yeah.
Once you become a pro, then that's the team's paying you. You can start moving around and seeing like how you can get to the next level. But as a young kid,
look at Kerry Wood. He was
Kerry
pitched
Wood.
to death.
You know what? No one remembers this, but remember a guy Ari Dickey?
Yeah.
No one remembers him when he was good in college. No one remembers him how good he was at Tennessee. No one remembers that he was throwing 200 innings at Tennessee like on a consistent basis in college. You know, he won the College World Series one year pitching 16, 15 innings, I think. So that takes a toll. You know, eventually, obviously, you have the arm problem, but what you do in high school and college, that can affect you down your road in your career. Not only pitchers, I think some kids playing like 9 months of baseball, I think that's not good mentally. And you just get tired of the game. Baseball's the only sport that they tell you how bad you are every at bat. You get a hit, okay, you had a great game. And I think every kid in high school, your goal should be to play in college. I think that you should get a free education that way, and then after college, you can worry about being a pro. Because it's so many things have to happen for you to get into pro ball. One of them being luck. And then once you're in pro ball, then they bring in the real players from South America. Neanderthals. So now you're competing more.
I'd like to talk then about the Dominican League and what do you think about that and their developing young players. So that sounds like you'd be sort of negative about that?
I want a world draft. So American kids can have an advantage and everyone can be equal like the NBA. Right now, Vladimir Guerrero's kid I just saw, you guys can YouTube him, the freak, 16 years old. There's like a video that they throw 60 pitches, he hits 40 out. That guy's gonna get like $6 million probably on July 2nd. So now with the technology, these Hispanic kids know that how much their worth is. So with that, so much money being involved, so much stuff goes down there. I think there's two things that I'm against with Latin American baseball. Number one, these kids don't know what steroids are. I can guarantee you that. Someone just comes up to them and says, hey, do you want to be a millionaire? Put this in you. Then once they get caught, they have to say, I didn't know what it was, because that's the truth. The difference between Hispanic guys doing steroids and American guys was that Hispanic guys was buying drugs from the dealer on the corner. American guys was having it delivered, by a high-end drug dealer. That was just an error in baseball. It is what it is. But nowadays, that's one of the big mistakes was that kids weren't educated. Number two, Hispanic kids come to the United States and get signed at 16 years old. Then they get released at 18. No other teams pick them up. I think getting signed at 16 is way too young. You get burned out. You're coming to a new country, no parents, no family. You're not going to make it. That's like grabbing a sophomore in high school and putting them to play professional baseball. And then if they don't make it, you cut them. So I think the signing age at 16 is way too young. I think you wait till they're 18 or you let any team sign anyone. So I think the other part is since Major League Baseball's not down there, there's not a draft. These kids, it's human trafficking, literally. You go down there, you find someone, and then you sell them to whoever you want. So there's a lot of stuff that happens on there, discrepancies that Major League Baseball does its best to try to make it better. But when there's a lot of money, there's a lot of issues that you have to look into. So I think a world draft would eliminate a lot of that. But then again, Hispanic players will tell you, so that we can't get signed for $1,000 as a free agent.
But then all the teams in Dominican have little training camps.
They have their academies. And players have, and other people have academies too. Like you can go down there and open your own academy. I think that's the issue. Because they didn't put a rule on there, so some ex-baseball players, they create their own academy, they create their own agencies. I can go down to the Dominican Republic with $500,000 and start my own academy. And then I'm the agent and I can control anybody here can do it. And I think that's going to be an issue when Cuba opens up. That's going to be, everyone's going to go down there and open an academy. So I think there's got to be more regulations. With the draft, you kind of stop that. You can have as many academies as you want, but everyone's going to have to get drafted.
You touched a little bit on youth baseball. What's your opinion of this select youth baseball where kids are playing at 9, 10, 11 years old? They're playing 70 games.
Again, I think that when you're a kid, you should be able to play every sport. You should be a triathlete. I think there's a lot of money in youth baseball. Again, money. I think that traveling teams, specializations, coaches, the competition. You think you're going to get there? I think that money drives that. I think that's crazy. Like I hope my kid doesn't get that I'm going to be driving again for 4 months out of the summer everywhere. I'm not. You're going to be playing regular baseball, and then once you get to a level of high school, when you're developing your skills need to get better, then we're going to focus on that. But at 9, 10 years old, that's too much.
Well, a lot of kids aren't even playing high school baseball. They're bypassing that.
To go straight to junior college. It depends. I think you lose a lot of things that are going to make you better in the big league level and professional. Those things that how to fail. Your team camaraderie. There's one thing when you're scouting is what's his baseball poise, like what's his baseball aptitude. You got to see that in a kid. Like if Ozzie Guillen was in today's baseball world, he probably wouldn't have gotten drafted by anybody because he was little. He was crazy, like legitly. He was like running around and stuff. He can play the game though. So every scout thinks they're like genius, like, oh, I found A-Rod. I can grab a 4-year-old from the bar and say, hey, from inside, say, hey, what do you think about this person? They say, wow, that guy's pretty good. I like the guys that drafted like David Eckstein, Joy Cora, guys that are like Mark Burley, like whoever got Burley that guy's a genius. Those are the guys that are like the diamonds in the rough that, due to like the baseball formality, they wouldn't have made it. So I think youth baseball, I think that parents take it way too serious and way too young of an age. So that's way too many games for a kid to be playing.
Do you think just playing one sport that leads to injuries as well?
I think so much injuries just gets you boring. It bores you. When you're the best at something, like when I played, I was out of your 3 sports, you're usually really good at one. So the people that go focus on a sport, that's the sport they're going to dominate. So you're going to grow up your whole. I want to give an example, but I don't want to say the player's name. That was very good. Little League, college, came to play a team in Chicago, and he came in and they made him, you know, the best player on earth, and he wasn't that good. And when he was faced with adversity, he was horrible. And now he's a backup player.
What is higher Southside?
Southside. But that happens though, like adversity. I think that happens a lot more for the I like guys that play multi. But then again, I don't like when guys get drafted and they say he was a hell of a tight end. And it's like, okay, well, how good was he at baseball? Which happens a lot on the south side. It's top ceiling guys.
Do you feel that college players have more focus and are much easier to coach? And did you go to college?
No. I went to college. I played college baseball. Well, I took some people's money in college baseball. I think that I thought I was going to be way better. I had other types of fun in college. Baseball wasn't a focus. But so there's a guy, and this is a joke. He might see the YouTube video and think this is funny. Maybe he might not. So Micah Johnson, the second baseman. He was talking, the White Sox fest, they had him on the stand, and I was there, and I think he's a pretty good player, actually a fan of his. And they asked him a question that, oh, it's so great that he's going to go get his degree. And they asked him, why do you want to get a degree? And he said, I want to be a general manager in the future. I turned and I said, that's not a good sign. He's thinking about what he wants to do in the future, when he gets his college degree. I like players that are like Juan Uribe. Can't read, can't write, can't know anything. He has no baseball. I believe in college.
How many rings, right?
Yeah, I believe in college. I think it's a great thing. I think that I evaluate this. Like if I would have signed right out of high school, I would have been lying to myself because I knew that I wasn't going to make it to the big leagues right away. So I think that a choice to go into college is great because my goal in life, and I think everybody's goal in life should be to get a